I can't believe I'm doing it again. Hello everyone, it's me. I'm really sorry, my deepest apologies. Please be welcoming and caring to everyone because the topic that we are talking today is about, and yeah, so I'm sorry.
Fun fact, the idea that actually started this Jake Paul film theory-a-thon didn't have anything to do with Jake at all. It had to do with those insane FaZe Clan and Clout Clan houses they showed Nick and Alyssa living in Shane's series. Did you see those monsters that both mysteriously had the same Hollywood sign piled into the pool?
This is deja vu.
Yeah, it's like the same house. We used to live in the house 2 down, but we still have that. That's like the FaZe house. And then this is like the Cloud House.
Right.
Yeah.
It struck me as an unusual coincidence, and Shane never looked into it, so I did a little digging myself. The houses, which we actually found the addresses for,
Minecraft digging.
are part of a complex of 4 mega mansions, all built
I would like it he mentions Mega Mansions as in Mega Man's reference. Mega Man. Pew, pew, pew.
by a Los Angeles real estate mogul and builder who never designed the houses to be lived in by real people. No, they were always designed to be party houses, or celebrity rentals, or movie sets. His signature style was including features for what he called the douche-oisie, like colored lighting, glass everything, and of course, that signature Hollywood sign by the pool. And if you think Jake's old neighbors had it rough, apparently the neighborhood hates these eyesores and have complained for years that the noise and people coming and going into the house ruins the area. If you'd like to pick them up off the market, the asking price for all 4 on the developer's website is a cool $50 million.
What? Literally multi-millions involved.
Which sounds like a lot, but actually for the size of these houses and their location is kind of a steal. FaZe Clan and Clout Gang live there now, which I thought was kind of an interesting coincidence in the series, that they would both live in these bizarrely identical influencer houses like some kind of digital Twilight Zone, until I learned that basically both clans are the same because they're both owned by a company called W8 Media. They're set to live in those houses until at least 2020, and I know this because I inquired about the next time that the houses would be available. Long story short, I win.
No, that's not possible because of the current global pandemic periods. And also you make a video about it lah. You mentioned that you're doing videos at home, so yeah.
This year's stream
Right now it's in the year 2021, so uncertainty I can say all this.
me for creepiest internet stalker, and I just really wanted to fit this in somewhere because it's interesting, but it had nothing to do with the main points of the other episodes that I'm doing in this series, so now you know.
Brilliant! Yes! I want to do the interview here.
Hello internet, welcome to Film Theory.
Hello internet, welcome to Film Theory. Hello.
The show that isn't about spilling tea, it's about sipping tea while applying facts. Today I'm continuing to follow in the footsteps of Shane Dawson by exploring all the issues that he didn't in his tell-all series on Jake Paul, or at least all the issues that he allowed Jake to just dismiss.
And I don't even think you're doing it on purpose. I don't think you're manipulating on purpose.
You see, during Shane Dawson's documentary, we come to some of the final moments of the docu-series when Shane finally sits down with Jake. During the conversation, Shane rightfully brings up a video from the channel Nerd City, who's done a pretty darn thorough job of researching Jake's history when it comes to merch, openly claiming that Jake is exploiting and manipulating children by hawking merch to them in every single video.
Out of a 13-minute and 50-second video, nearly 7 minutes of that time is devoted to advertising products.
It's an interesting video, and another fun fact here, Shane may have just been inspired by it when he was brainstorming names for the title of his Jake Paul docu-series.
Inside the mind of Jake Paul.
In response to these allegations, Jake doesn't really have much of an answer. He just vehemently denies that he could possibly manipulate children, calling the claims ridiculous, and that he wants people trying to make the connection to just shut up.
Honestly, I think it's stupid that people think that's manipulative.
Here's the thing though, Jake, and yeah, I'm talking directly to you in hopes that you do end up watching this. I'm not gonna shut up about this. It's important for you to understand why what you're doing is wrong, and not just wrong to little kids, but also illegal, and also against YouTube's ad policies. So even if you don't care about the kids who watch you, do it for that billion-dollar business you're hoping to build up. Cause guess what? Nothing kills a business quite like a class action lawsuit by a bunch of angry parents. Oh yeah, and I know you don't like teachers.
Nothing my teachers taught me in school do I utilize in my day-to-day life.
Don't worry, even though we're covering a lot of educational stuff today, I'll keep it interesting for you.
Like, I wish my teachers did teach me.
I mean, millions of your own dollars are at stake after all. Now, it's important to note that merch itself isn't the problem here, and that a creator isn't wrong to promote their own products. If that were the case, I'd be the pot calling the kettle black, having to do my own series on the manipulation of MatPat. Because, by the way, new Game Theory and Film Theory merch is launching on November 24th, and it looks great! There are hoodies and reversible jackets and socks, and holy crap, why am I not getting in trouble for any of this, while our favorite blonde punching bag is?
Okay, it's really a yeah.
Well, it's because this isn't a kid's show, whereas the Jake Paul channel is. But MatPat, I'm not doing a kid's show, I'm faking pranks with my friends, and fake getting kidnapped by clowns, and doing upshots of girls climbing ladders, and close-ups of my dad kissing girls, and covering up videos where I use racial slurs. Jake, yeah, I know, I hear you, and I get it. I know I wouldn't let my kids watch ya, but let's look at what defines a kid's show. The media's official definition of children's programming is a show that's aimed at 6 to 11-year-olds with a few key hallmarks. 1, it can be animated or IRL. 2, it often contains comedy and slapstick humor. 3, it's designed to entertain and not to educate. And 4, it doesn't contain open cursing. Jake, you meet all 4 of these criteria in spades. You have an animated character, you feature plenty of slapstick humor, you are certainly not educational. England is my city. And you beep out any cursing.
You wanna fight?
And one look at videos from your live tour show exactly who's watching you.
Tell us what you like so much about Jake Paul.
Everything.
You even have several members of your team under the age of 10, with the youngest being 4. 4! A more cynical person would assume that you're using those kids as a means of adding audience surrogates into your crew, kids who younger viewers can project themselves onto, and that you just happen to own 20% of their future business. But media definitions and audience demos don't even matter, because you yourself are intentionally trying to target these kids.
Yeah, my audience is definitely younger. I would say it's like 8 years old to like 16 years old.
So now that we've established that you have a bona fide kids program on your hands, or at least that you want to have one, then what's the big problem? Well, there's nothing wrong with a kids show where people do a bunch of stupid things, but there is a problem with a kids show that breaks a bunch of regulations regarding advertising. You see, psychological studies have shown time and time again that young children are unable to understand when they're being sold to.
Yes, time and time again, can shows that huge majority, you can practice here, everyone can say that all children are fail to recognize the long-term effects. Like, what happens if like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years later, they have only lived 8 years, 10 years. You're talking about things that are literally out of their imagination, because they have only lived for 10 years, and you're talking about way bigger than that of their entire lifespan altogether combined.
For instance, in a 2002 study by Oates, Blades, and Gunter, of the 8-year-olds that were tested, fewer than half understood that ads were meant to persuade them to do something. For instance, if I threw Batman on screen right now and did this, "Attention kids, it's me, Batman. The Joker is attacking and Gotham City needs your help. Give me your age, name, and mom's credit card number so I can stop him. Do it, and you can be a superhero just like me." Well, we all know it's just me doing a bad Batman impression. But to developing kids, they can't understand that that's not Batman, and that could be someone taking on the mantle of Batman, lying to them in an effort to rip them off. And it's not their fault either. You can't write it off as stupid kids. Our brains just develop that way. Up until age 7, children exist in what's known as a pre-operational phase, where a child is only able to focus on themselves. They can't really hop into someone else's brain and understand that that other person might think or feel differently than they do. It's like Twitter, but actual 8-year-old children and not people acting like 8-year-old children.
Oh! Ouch! Good thing I don't have Twitter. Good thing I don't have Twitter. Yet.
So when in a children's program someone says this,
"Honestly, this is the best sports bra that I've ever freaking worn about. Don't cover me up. Literally, these are such like high quality, nice elastic. These sports bras are absolutely amazing."
Wearing something that like actually means something and like reminds you of being positive or reminds you of being happy.
These kids are just physically unable to process that your shorts won't be able to help them achieve their dreams. Unless, of course, their dream is to buy merch from a company who doesn't do returns on a lot of its items and doesn't do cancellations after 20 hours or less than 1 day after purchase. Mom and dad better figure out that Junior stole their credit card in a hurry. Because of all this, the federal government started to crack down on children's advertising in the 80s. Before that time, kids' programs primarily only existed as advertising tools for toys or products.
That means you must understand that you need to have good parenting and also good adult being good parenting and good adulting for the children involved. Not just your children, but other children as well.
Think Transformers.
Insert proper and appropriate disciplines to them. Teach them what is good and what's bad in the current society that we live in.
He-Man and Street Sharks, because there is no other reason why Street Sharks should have existed. In short, Jake, any of your advertising to children would have been totally legal in the early 1980s, and if laws against children's advertising weren't around today, all the kids' shows on TV would look a lot like your vlogs. But now, because of these regulations, the FTC now requires that any advertising happening around these kids' programs, 1, have a clear distinction between the program and the commercial, 2, that the main character of the show doesn't sell the products during the show, and 3, that products can't be integrated into the program's content.
Get that right arrow, man, do not go back to the Jake Paul. Yo, you only have 24 hours to enter this competition. If you get to yourself some of the red Confident Camo collection. Check out Mini Jake Paul rocking these.
Mini Jake Paul. Mini Jake Paul.
So cute. Go to fanswear.co/Jake Paul and get yourself a baseball jersey and sunglasses.
Lucky for you, Jake, you're on YouTube, so those TV regulations don't apply. But YouTube also has a pretty clear advertising policy for anything qualifying as kids' content. And it's here, Jake buddy, where you're not doing much better for yourself. I'm actually gonna show you the policy, not because I want to bore you to death, but because in your Shane interview, you seemed really unconcerned with how these sorts of policies could affect you.
You must understand that this video came out in the year 2018 and right now it's in the year 2021, so a lot of things may have changed, and yeah, thank you so much for being so understanding, and yeah.
I don't see a problem with it at all. Like, just because my fans are younger, does that mean I'm manipulating them?
Don't do that, please don't do that. As a grown-up, as an adult, younger kids look up to their parents, younger kids look up to adults, younger kids look up to grown-ups as role models so that they can be better human beings in the future, isn't it correct? And you, me, everyone who is an adult, please remember, be a good leader figure for everyone as well. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Read from YouTube's ad policy for kids, which they implement for any kids between the ages of 6 and 11, quote, "Your child may see an ad intro followed by a video ad, marked with ad, before the video you selected. All paid ads undergo a rigorous review process for compliance with our policies. Paid ads won't include any click-throughs to websites or product purchase flows. This means that when you have a show for kids, there should never be a link in the description to buy merch, or in the end screen, or an iCard, or anywhere. No clicking on stuff to go to a website that's going to sell you something or promote a product."
For kids programs, understandable?
This kind of promotion to children between the ages of 6 to 11 is forbidden by YouTube according to the rules set forth in their kids app.
And note this, that this video it came out in the year 2018. Right now it's in the year 2021. A lot of things may have changed.
YouTube disables these kinds of links for children because, again, with children being much more easily manipulated than adults and will, for lack of a nicer way of putting it, do what they're told by the character that they idolize, that's you, Jake, all while being told that Jake Paulers are unique, push the boundaries, and are totally edgy by wearing their merch every day, bro. Then there's YouTube's requirement that short animated messages appear before a paid ad to help a child understand that the paid ad will be played.
We'll be back after this ad.
Clearly an effort, like on TV, to try and help children distinguish between the show that they want to be watching and the ad that they can skip to go get a Juicy Juice refill. But
ad as an advertisement. You can think of it as maybe, I'm not too sure about it, commercials?
In your content, there is none of that division. There can be no after these messages when your whole vlog is practically the message. Or 50% of your vlog, according to that Nerd City video.
Out of a 13-minute and 50-second video, nearly 7 minutes of that time is devoted to advertising products.
But I wanted to give you a fair shake, Jake, because in this Nerd City video, he just showed one example, so maybe he was just cherry-picking what video he showed. So I cast a bit broader of a net. Across the 20 random videos that I selected, some were almost entirely advertisements. Like this one, Don't Watch This With Your Parents, really inspires confidence through that title, where no less than 65% of the video was dedicated to selling your underwear, while others, like Don't Watch This With Your Parents, yeah, they have the same title, only in this one, his girlfriend isn't in her underwear nearly as much, contained only about 15% of the runtime as promotion. And then you had videos which had almost 0% promotion. Sure, they contained really uncomfortable transitions from we're supporting a march for gun control to here's my girlfriend taking off her shirt.
It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter, you know, if you don't think you can get involved or make a difference, you can. You at home can make a difference, baby. Get better every single day. Help the world every single day. Smile every single day. Yo, let's march. Oh my God.
But next to no promotion, so yay! Overall, on average, when looking across all 20 videos, merch and other promotional pushes took up between 20 and 33% of his videos.
Alright, please do remember to be wholesome, be family friendly, and thank you so much for being so welcoming and understanding to everyone. Sincere appreciation for your politeness and decency towards one another. Thank you so much, and let's make the world a better place. Awesome.
Certainly not the 50% mark that Nerd City said, but still over the regulated limit allowed in children's programming.
It also limited how many minutes per hour of commercials that children's programming can contain. That's 17.5% and 20% of the watch time. Maximum.
So, Jake, you're actively producing a self-identified kids show that openly shills to kids who aren't mentally mature enough to understand that they're ads, in turn breaking at least 2 major federal regulations around children's advertising, as well as YouTube's general guidelines for ads aimed at children. But you know what, Jake? Us Ohio boys have to stick together. I will proudly wear my hometown pride merch that I just got for the low price of $10. I mean, at this point, I can't really return it anyway. I know this whole Shane Dawson thing was just an image rehabilitation for you, so here, let me give you a scapegoat to pin this all on, since, like PewDiePie's apology video taught us.
Number 2, what you want to do is shift blame. Shift blame whatever you could do, okay? If you take responsibility, then that's admitting that you're wrong.
Remember the last episode where I talked about the fact that you aren't really a YouTuber, that you're just a cog in your own corporate machine? Well, that means that there are a lot of other parts in that machine. Cogs in that machine who should know better. Much better. Many of your investors hold a slew of investments across the media landscape. I mean, don't get me wrong, these guys have done some awesome work and funded companies that now help millions of people. Everything from Nest to Spotify. But they
talking towards to PewDiePie about shifting blames, that's horrible. That's genuinely horrible. Is it really that hard to say, I am sorry, my deepest apologies, please forgive me, I am wrong? Is it really hard to say that?
They are huge names in the entertainment world. There is no way that these powerhouse investors don't have a basic understanding of children's advertising laws and didn't do their due diligence on you and your content before giving you that small loan of $1 million. Here's the thing, by funding you, they are implicitly supporting your business decisions, including marketing directly to children, whether good or ill.
Keeping a positive image about yourself.
Jake Paul is in their portfolio, and presumably a significant portion of Jake Paul's revenue is coming from his merch, then they are potentially recouping their investments on the backs of illegally manipulated children. And believe me, that is not a good look for anyone. So Jake, what's it gonna be? You wanna be a famous social media businessman, but that means taking the blame for this yourself, or are you gonna pass the blame off to your investors, who should have known better and should have been guiding you away from your business practices, but in doing so it means that you're gonna have to give up some of that businessman swagger that you're so proud of. The choice is yours. And here's the last thing I'll say about this issue. Yes, I wish Shane Dawson had pressed Jake more about this, but honestly, I don't think he could. Notice the weird editing around this particular series of questions, and only this series of questions?
It's like, it's ridiculous.
So, you spoke your truth on that, and I think we should respect that. Okay, wait, let's cut for a second.
Sentences oddly cut off, a full cut at the end of it, and even Jake's responses felt different here than they did for the rest of the interview.
So it's like, I've been doing that my whole life. So like, for people trying to say like, I'm just doing it to manipulate and trying to make money off of kids, like, shut the
It was almost like Shane was getting into territory that Jake, or the people pulling the strings behind Jake, decided to remove from the table. But it does beg the question, should it have been in there? Should he have pushed harder? Does Shane have a moral responsibility to include stuff like this in his documentary? And ultimately, what does a documentary need to contain in order to be a documentary? Do Shane Dawson's docu-series actually qualify, or are his recent exposés doing more harm than good?
Those are some very good questions that MadPat have mentioned, and it's really good for... Thank you so much for MadPat for being so educational and knowledgeable about it. Thank you so much for teaching us, for educating me, teaching me about it. Sincerest appreciation. So that I know that I'm going to make this mistakes in the future. It's a definite that I'm going to make this mistake in the future. It's not if, it's when. When I make this mistake in the future, I know what I shall do, and I know what's the proper steps moving ahead, so that I can make the world a better place for you and for me and the entire human race.
Is the Shane Dawson documentary format dangerous? I could talk about it now, but then how would I extend this to a part 3 of this theory? So make sure you manhandle that subscribe button. Tell him, Jake.
Give it a little bit of a headbutt, give it a little bit of a knee.
So that way you know in a couple days when the third and final part of this theory goes live. And
wait, but part 3 for...
remember, in the meantime, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut.
Wow, there's a part 3 of it. Gosh, come on, man, come on. Well, thank you so much for watching this video together with me. It's been very unique and special to watch. Quite interesting, especially to learn such educational and unique facts about it. Knowledge about it. So yeah, is it facts? Well, that's just a theory. That is just a theory. Anyways, if you do like this video, please show me to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you have any share with us. Don't forget to follow my channel, and sincerely appreciate all of your support and encouragement for my work. Thank you so much. It's very uplifting and motivating for me to continue doing it. Thank you so much for supportive encouragement. But once again, hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. Thanks for watching. Thank you. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.